Welcome back, wrestling fans, to a moment shrouded in unimaginable sorrow that has left the WWE Universe holding its breath in collective grief. In the wake of the tragic announcement of Roman Reigns' passing after the brutal events at Clash in Paris 2025, we delve into the heart-wrenching scene where Triple H and the Bloodline were shattered by the doctor's devastating news, a revelation that exposed the raw fragility of life in this unforgiving business. The sterile corridor of the Paris hospital felt like a tomb, the fluorescent lights casting harsh shadows on faces etched with worry. Triple H, WWE's chief content officer and a man who'd seen it all, paced endlessly, his usual commanding presence reduced to a father's anguish. Beside him stood the Bloodline, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and Solo Sikoa, their unbreakable facade cracking as they awaited word on Roman, the tribal chief, whose body lay fighting for survival after the merciless ambush by the Vision at Clash in Paris. The doctor's door creaked open, and time seemed to freeze. The physician, a weary figure in scrubs stained by the night's chaos, stepped out with a clipboard clutched like a death sentence. His eyes, heavy with regret, met Triple H's first, then scanned the solemn group of the Anoa'i family. The words that followed were a dagger to the soul. Roman Reigns, Joe Anoa'i, had succumbed to the catastrophic injuries from the attack, his heart giving out under the strain of fractured ribs and internal trauma. Please like, share and subscribe for more WWE content. Alright, we're halfway through, and things are about to take a serious turn. If you thought you knew where this was going, think again, this is where the real drama unfolds. Stay tuned, because the best is yet to come. Triple H's knees buckled, a grown man crumbling against the wall as tears streamed down his face. He'd mentored Roman from his Shield days, watching him rise through betrayal and triumph, only to see him fall in a moment of senseless violence. The grief was visceral, a sob escaping Triple H's lips as he clutched Jey's shoulder, their shared history in WWE now tainted by this irreplaceable loss. This wasn't just a boss mourning a star, it was a friend losing a brother. Jey Uso, the Heat Master, stood frozen, his eyes wide with denial before the dam broke. Tears flowed freely as he sank to the floor, whispering, "No, no, Us," his voice breaking with the weight of family betrayal and now, ultimate loss. Jey's bond with Roman was more than blood, it was forged in the ring's fires, through the Bloodline's internal wars and the real-life pressures of carrying the Anoa'i legacy. The family breakdowns that had plagued them, from Jimmy's defections to Solo's ambitions, now felt trivial in the face of this void. Jimmy Uso, ever the resilient twin, tried to hold it together, but his shoulders heaved with silent sobs. He'd reconciled with Jey after his own flirtations with the Vision, but Roman's death ripped open old wounds, a reminder of the scandals that had torn their unity apart. The Usos, pillars of the Bloodline, now faced a dynasty without its head, their real-life brotherhood strained by fame but unbreakable in grief, hugging each other as the doctor's words echoed like a funeral dirge. Solo Sikoa, the enforcer, punched the wall in rage, his knuckles bloodied before the tears came. His role in the Bloodline had been one of loyalty tested by power struggles, but Roman was the anchor, the one who'd guided him through backstage politics and personal doubts. The betrayal by Paul Heyman at WrestleMania 41 had already fractured their trust, but this death was a scandal beyond repair, leaving Solo grappling with guilt for not being there to protect his tribal chief. The doctor's explanation was clinical yet crushing, detailing how the ambush by Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker had exacerbated Roman's underlying health issues from his leukemia battles. The fractured ribs pierced vital organs, and the concussion masked internal bleeding that proved fatal. Triple H listened in stunned silence, his mind flashing to Roman's 2018 announcement, a health crisis that humanized him to the world. Now, that Warriors fight had ended, a tragedy that exposed wrestling's hidden dangers. Backstage dynamics at Clash in Paris had been tense long before the attack. Whispers of Seth Rollins pushing the Vision too far, ordering a statement that went horribly wrong, circulated among the roster. Triple H had confronted Seth earlier that night, but the damage was done. Now, in the hospital, Triple H's tears weren't just for Roman, they were for a business he'd helped build, one where ambition led to betrayal and, in this case, death. The Bloodline's grief spilled into Raw embraces, Jay and Jimmy clinging to Solo as if to hold the family together. Their real-life Anoa'i roots, a dynasty of wrestlers from Rikishi to Yokozuna, now bore the heaviest loss yet. Family breakdowns like Jimmy's heel turn and Jay's departure had tested them, but Roman's passing was a scandal that would redefine their legacy, forcing them to rebuild without the man who'd carried them all. Seth Rollins, informed of the news via a frantic call from Becky Lynch, was reportedly inconsolable in his hotel room. His betrayal of Roman, rooted in the Shield's dissolution, now haunted him as the architect of this tragedy. The Vision's dominance, built on scandals like Becky's attack on CM Punk, crumbled under the weight of guilt, with Seth's tears a private admission that power came at too high a cost. CM Punk, a complicated ally to Roman, received the news during a late-night flight, his own history with the Vision making the loss hit harder. From his seat, tears welled as he thought of their shared battles, the backstage respect amid rivalries. Punk's grief was layered with anger at Seth, a betrayal that echoed his own departures from WWE, now amplified by this death that felt like a family member's passing. The WWE Universe learned of the tragedy through a somber press release from Triple H himself, his voice cracking in a video statement. Fans on X erupted in tributes, sharing memories of Roman's spears, his vulnerability during leukemia remissions, and his unyielding spirit. The health crisis that claimed him was a wake-up call, reminding everyone that behind the characters were people like Joe Anoa'i, a husband and father whose life was cut short by the ring's brutality. In the hospital waiting area, Triple H gathered the Bloodline for a private moment, his tears mingling with theirs as he spoke of Roman's impact. "He was the heart of this company," Triple H said, his words choked. The real backstage dynamics, locker room leaders like Sami Zayn offering silent support, while others like Braun Breaker faced internal turmoil, painted a picture of a family in mourning, united by loss. The scandal of the Vision's role intensified, with insiders leaking that Seth had ignored warnings about Roman's health vulnerabilities. Becky Lynch, torn between loyalty to her husband and horror at the outcome, was seen weeping alone, her heel persona shattered. The real-life marriage of Seth and Becky added a human layer, their grief a testament to how wrestling's drama invades personal lives. Jay's sobs turned to quiet resolve as he vowed to honor Roman by leading the Bloodline forward, but the family breakdowns loomed large. Jimmy's hand on his shoulder was a fragile bridge, their twin bond the only anchor in this storm. Solo's rage subsided into quiet tears, his enforcer role now meaningless without the chief to protect. The doctor's final words lingered. Roman had fought until the end, his last thoughts reportedly on his family and fans. Triple H nodded, tears falling, recalling Roman's backstage kindness, the way he'd mentor young talents amid his own health crises. This death wasn't just a loss, it was a betrayal of the trust wrestlers place in each other to keep the violence contained. The Paris crowd, unaware at the time, had chanted, "Roman's family," as he was stretchered out, a moment now replayed in tributes worldwide. That connection, raw and unscripted, was Roman's true legacy, a fanbase that mourned him as one of their own. The grief rippled from the arena to homes everywhere, fans feeling the ache of a hero gone too soon.